Hello and welcome. I am Matt Taylor and this is my variety channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make Dungeons and Dragons paper miniatures or D&D minis. The same steps could be used for like Pathfinder minis or Warhammer. Totally up to you how you use these. I happen to play Dungeons and Dragons quite a bit and I don't have the money to spend to buy all the little miniatures that you can buy. I mean, there's a lot of awesome miniatures that you can buy if you have the money. They look amazing. I have one miniature that I have right here, and he's a pretty expensive guy, but I really like him. I just don't have the money to buy all these, and so I have three different options or three different looks, if you will, that you can use for these paper minis. Really easy to do. They do take some time, but a lot of it could be just time spent in front of the TV while you're watching TV anyways. You can be doing a lot of the tedious work. So it's not that big of a deal, but it does take some time to make these, but it's really cool. I've made tons and tons and tons of them, and they just work out really well during the game. And before we move on, make sure to subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell so you know anytime I have a new video come up. All right. Let's get started. So first what you'll need is to have some kind of a paper with your artwork on it. And I will show you how to create the looks that I'm going to do. This artwork just came from on Google Images. Some of them are from the Monster Manual. Some of them are from other people's artwork. They're not my artwork, so that's a little caveat there. For personal use, it's fine. But if you can't sell these because you don't own the rights to this artwork, unless you do your own artwork, then that's cool. So I'm going to show you how to make the paper part of it first over at the computer. Okay, here we are over in Photoshop. Now you can do this in any photo editing program. It doesn't have to be Photoshop. I just like using Photoshop because that's the program that I know really well. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and create a new document here. And I'm just going to use a custom setting, which I have as 8.5 by 11 orientation, portrait, resolution 300, RGB colors fine, white background is good. I'm just using this because that's the sheet of that's how big a sheet of paper is. So there we go. Let's go ahead and create that. All right, the first thing I do when I'm in my sheet is I want to create some guides. I just want to make sure that I don't have my artwork bleed over the edges at all and get cut off. So I just do some guides here where I add about 1/4 inch, somewhere around there, space around the sheet of paper. There we go, great. And now we want to start adding our artwork. Now, let's go ahead. Let's say I want to make some like little bullywug army. I'm going to take that image and drag it over. Now I want to scale them down. The scale, the 25 to 28 millimeter scale is kind of the standard scale for the D&D figures. So it's right around 1 inch if it's for the human height. These bullywugs are a little smaller. So I'm going to put them right there. And you don't have to have the same exact scale. Just kind of do whatever scale that you want. But that's kind of the standard scale. And now I'm just going to hit the check mark, and he's placed fine. All right. Now 2 ways I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the ways where you're just going to put it on a piece of cardboard and it's only going to be one-sided. And then I'm going to show you the double-sided way. Both sides are fine. Just depends on your preference. Okay. So I place that guy there. I'm going to come over here and duplicate the layer. Hit OK. We'll bring them over a little bit so there's space in between to where we can cut. We'll duplicate that again. We'll make maybe 3 of these guys like that. All right, cool. Now I want to show you a different method. What I would do is I would take one of these guys. I'm going to duplicate that one and drag him over. And then I'm going to duplicate him again. And then on this layer, I'm going to come up to Edit, Transform, Flip Vertical. And then drag him up there so there's enough white right there in between him, which is great. Let's go ahead and zoom in here so you can see what's going on a little better. All right, and then I'm going to take a guide and place it right there. That's about the middle point. And then on this layer, with this layer selected, I'm going to come up here and do a filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Hit OK, 4.7 pixels is great. And then, because this is going to be his back, I don't have artwork for the back of him, so I'm going to make this be the back. So I'm going to blur it out, come over here to Adjustments, Hue Saturation, and bring that saturation all the way down. And now it's affecting all the bullywugs, and we just want it to affect that one beneath them. So let's go ahead and do Create Clipping Mask. And there we go. Now we have a nice backside to him. That's not necessary. You could have it both green. If you want them to look like on both sides the same, that's totally up to you. Or if you just want it to be white on the background, you could do that too. Or just have the cardboard be the background. All right, so I'm going to copy him a few more times. And to do this, I'm just going to copy that, that, and that, those three layers. Right-click, duplicate, hit OK. And drag those guys over. All right, now let's do some other characters. Let's grab this cool creature. It looks pretty neat. This guy's gonna be a pretty large guy. Place him down, duplicate that, move it up, there we go, filter, Gaussian blur. And then I can just come over here and duplicate my clipping mask layer, drag that all the way to the top, right click, and make sure it's a clipping mask. So go ahead and fill in the rest of this sheet of paper with some of your characters that you want to make. All right, so here we go. I have my sheet filled up, and I would spend more time to make it so I maximize my sheet space as much as possible, just depending on the type of characters I'm doing, whether I'm going to put the backs on them or not. And there you go. So then what we'll want to do is we'll just want to save this file as a JPEG and then print it out either at home or at some place like Staples or any other printing service. I like to do like a nice thick card stock that holds up color really well, but totally up to you. All right, so once you have the paper printed out with your little figures on it, let's go ahead on to this next step. All right, the first one I'm going to show you how to do is where you just take the image and you put it on a piece of cardboard and then cut around it. And then you're going to put it inside one of these little holders. And I'll put a link down below where you can get these little holders. And that makes one type of figure. See? This happened to be with a white background, the cardboard. And that makes it look, that's pretty cool. All right? So I have my characters here. And I'm going to be using the ones that don't have a back to them. For example, we got this basilisk here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut him out. Maybe trim up the edge a little. All right, so there we go. That's really cool. And then just take a piece of cardboard. This one looks good. That fits perfectly. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on this side. And then what you can do is you could use a glue stick, which is what I normally use, or you can get this like spray adhesive. That works really well. I'm just gonna use the glue stick. Like so. And then we'll go ahead and just put him on like that. Awesome. And now once he's glued on there, you can come in and further trim him up. If you like. And there we go. We have a cool little basilisk ready to be used, ready to go on one of these little holders, bases. Boom. And he'll stand up just like that. Pretty cool, right? Awesome. That's one of the ways, or one of the methods that I use. Now the next way is when you have the double side. Alright, so we're going to work on this beholder character. I'm just doing a quick trim first. Alright, so that's pretty good. And now what we're going to do with him, a little bit different, it's a different look, a different style, is it has the front, which is nice in color. The back, as I did in Photoshop, is I blurred it out and then made it black and white, since I don't have back artwork for him. And then what we want to do is we want to fold it in the middle. Fold it in the middle like that. And then you can just tape him together and then glue it to the base. Which is like what we did with these guys. He's taped and then hot glued to a base, and the base that we use are these cool little white bingo tiles. Pretty cool, right? And I'll put a link down below where you can get those. You don't have to use bingo tiles. The base is a little bit small, but it resembles the same size as these bases, but you could use bigger bases if you want. But instead of just taping it, I'm going to put glue on there. And I usually do this on a piece of cardboard to act as the bottom so I can get all the edges without getting my surface all glued up. Okay, something like that. And then I fold him over. And then what I'll do is I'll clean up any edges that I want to make it so they're nice and uniform. And then I'm going to take a piece of packing tape. And then I'm going to fold it over. And this is going to act like a lamination. And it's going to protect my little paper guy in case you spill something on there or whatnot, which, you know, we all know we can be messy gamers sometimes. And then just trim up the edges however you want. You can use them, leave them square, or kind of curve around the character a little bit, make it a little more interesting. I don't know, something like that. All right, and then we heat up our glue gun. And once it's heated up, we'll take one of these and we'll put some glue right in the middle. And just be careful because the glue's going to be really hot. And then we'll take our character and just put him right there in the middle, and we'll just hold it there for a second. And sometimes there'll be little glue strands that are stuck to it, but... And then there you go. There is another way to make them. This is probably my favorite way. I just like how sleek they are, and I like how they have a front and a back, and you can tell which way is the back of the character as opposed to looking at the back of a black or white background. Because this is like, if you have a bunch of these, it's hard to tell what the character is if you're looking from the back. But if it's like this guy, it's the beholder and it's his back. Anyway, pretty neat. And then again, the other way is where you just fold it. If you can tell right here, we just folded this one over and it wasn't glued together and then glued to the base like this. All right, and that's how you make some awesome paper Dungeons & Dragons minis or miniatures. And you can also do this for Pathfinder or Warhammer or any of those other games where you need some miniatures. Thank you for watching. I'm Matt Taylor. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Click that notification bell. Until next time, happy gaming, everyone.